Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Dark Queen and let's go build a super smelter. This is a fully automated 32 furnace super smelter. It runs by placing items in the dump chests here, and you place your fuel in the fuel chest, and then it all comes out the bottom. And it's fantastic. Super fast, super efficient, great for running smaller quantities automatically. I will say you do have to add an optional lever if you want it to empty completely, but we'll go over that towards the end of the video. So the space we're going to work with is a 7 wide by 30 long space. It's a very large space, but that's okay. It's a very large super smelter. It will do a half of stack of items very quickly. So let's get started. I'm going to flip the game into survival mode so you can see how to build this in survival. Here are the materials you'll need. 2 levers, 2 redstone torches, 3 redstone dust, 3 blocks of redstone, a repeater, some comparators, a detector rail, a stack and 7 powered rail, 17 regular rails, 32 furnaces, 14 chests, a stack and 45 hoppers, 2 hopper minecarts, a fence gate, 2 sticky pistons, and some blocks. These can be just any blocks. The rest of these are selective building blocks. This is just the palette I chose. Any block will work for these. This is just the decorative, like how you make it look. These two I will be using to test run it as soon as I'm done so that you can see that it works. Let's get started. Let's see. I'm also going to grab a pickaxe and an axe in creative mode because they keep disappearing on me. Alright, we're going to start with that, and I have just 1 stack of building blocks in my inventory to start. I need to grab an axe and a pickaxe, and then we're going back. Okay, so we're in survival mode, and we're gonna start with our 2 double chests that go in the front. This is where our items come out. If you would like, you could make it bigger in the future so that you have room to put a lot of things. I find this amount has been enough for me, but if you'd rather do more, you can do more. So we're going to count 12 in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then on 13, we're going to dig a 2 by 6 hole. And we're going to place down our chests at the front of the hole. We're going to go ahead and grab some hoppers, and we're going to feed 1 hopper into the back of each chest, making sure to click on the chest so they face into the chest. They should look like this from the side. Next, we're going to take an additional 2 hoppers and face them into the top of the hoppers. The directions of the hoppers are very important to make this work correctly. Next, I'm going to divide out and get 2 stacks of 7 hoppers and put 7 hoppers out each direction. Alright, and then we're going to take half of our furnaces and place them on top. Now we're going to take 4 hoppers and we're going to face that one into there, and then we're going to go 3 along the back, so this is 4 wide. And we're going to do the same thing on the other end. And then we're going to take 8 hoppers and put them here. And it should line up with the hopper, the chest on this side. We're going to put 8 furnaces on top. Leave these 4 hoppers on the end. We do not put, we don't put furnaces on top of them. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and cover mine with deep slate so I don't get items falling into them. And then we're going to take and start from this side and put 8 hoppers here. Once again, that should be in the center. And then we put our 8 furnaces on top. Again, I'm going to cover those. Now we're going to have to be careful as we build this throughout, because we do not want extra items falling into these hoppers that we're putting on here, because we'll end up having to go around and take them all out when we're done. So now we're going to hop up on top, and we are going to go ahead and place a block right here, and then we're going to point hoppers into the back of every single furnace. So you should be clicking on the back of all of the furnaces. It should look like they're pointing in from the side. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Because if you place them onto the other hoppers, the fuel won't get into the furnace. Alright, we're going to get the rest of our hoppers, and we're now going to place a whole row of hoppers facing into the top of the furnaces. Making sure every furnace has one, and that they're all facing down. There we go. We should have 3 hoppers left. That's perfect. We're going to put them up. Next, we're going to start with the rails. This rail coming in here, this one's not powered. And then we're going to take powered rails, and we're going to place a powered rail on every one of these hoppers until we get to the last set. The last set we're going to place unpowered rails and then powered rails again too. This set of rails should end facing into this block. Like that. Alright, continuing on, we put 1 block after each of these, and then we're going to go up 1, and we'll put a row of blocks along the top, and then we will come down here, and we're going to put a whole row there, and then a row here, ending there. We put 2 powered rails facing into this block, and one of our levers goes on this block, and we flick it, and it should turn these powered rails on and off. Let's sleep real. Oh. On top of this, we're going to put a double chest, and then facing into that chest, we put one of our hoppers. And then on top of that, we put another double chest. There we go. That is our fuel input. And we're just going to leave this open for now so we can get in and out. And then we're going to go ahead, and this will either always be powered or always be off. I can't remember. I think I had 3 powered rails here. We'll revisit that in a minute if I was wrong, but I'm pretty sure I had 3 powered rails, and it should be this like S sort of pattern to go right up in there. You have to make sure that no hoppers are under, like, directly under blocks where the minecarts are traveling over. Otherwise, you can lose items into there. So with that in mind, let's go back up here. And our infill is coming from this side. So we're going to go 2 blocks here and then 1 above it. And we'll break this block, making sure it does not go in the hoppers. And then we're going to place a redstone torch right under here. And then, now see, here's where we have to come out 1 more and go down like that. So it should be the last hopper, 1 block, and then stair-stepped down. And then redstone torch, powering this block, and then, yeah. And then we're going to do 1 powered rail, 1 regular rail, and then powered rails all the way down to this end. And then once we get off of that, we're going off of the hoppers onto this first block. We're going to do regular rails. This side gets powered on there, so they're different per side. And then we're going to go ahead and fill this in with the rest of the powered rails. And see. Nope, we've got 7 more still. We're about to find out. 1, 2. If that was the perfect amount. Okay. And then we go, after we get these down on the bottom, you go 1 out the end, 1 to the side, 1 directly to the other side. Uh-oh. I thought I had 1 more powered rail. Well, that's wild. All right. Well, we're not going to fuss about it. We're just going to bop into creative and grab 1 more powered rail because we're short 1 powered rail. And we're going to need 1 extra regular rail to make this work. I forgot that I had to set this side up first. Okay, and then we're going to come in line with this. So like you see how we're like the row in front of the furnaces, and we're going to go up. We're going to put a powered rail here. Oops, I'm still in creative mode. Flip. There we go. Boom. Perfect. And then this is where our loader and unloader comes in. Or actually our loader. I don't know how I ended up short a powered rail. That's baffling. It's okay. I'm fine. Moving on. We're going to go ahead and put another block on top. And then here's where our redstone comes in. Facing the comparators towards the edge of your space, or the edge of where you want this to be, place 2. And then we place 2 smooth stone facing up. And then we're going to leave a 2 block gap here and put 2 more smooth stone right there. We put a redstone torch on top of that smooth stone. We put a sticky piston here and put a fence gate on the sticky piston. And then we're going to come over here and we're putting 3 redstone dust, and we're putting a repeater in there, and then a comparator facing into the repeater. So the repeater's facing this block and the comparator is facing the repeater. And then we take our last sticky piston in one of our redstone blocks and put it there. It should pop everything out like that. Then we're going to take our double chest and place it right above this powered rail. And then we're going to grab some more blocks. And we're going to put 2 hoppers facing into these blocks. And we're going to put our other optional lever here, I think. Double check that, nope. The optional lever goes on the bottom. That powers this rail on. Now, I'll explain the circumstances in which we would use that in a minute. For now, let's get these other double chests on. So then let's place these double chests over the hoppers. Once again, making sure your hoppers are facing into this chest, otherwise it won't load properly. Then we need to make sure all of our rails are powered, and so we're going to come over here and we're going to stand over this chest on this side and place a redstone block right here. Check that it powers everything all the way to the end. It should power both the bottom rail and the top rail. And then we're going to go diagonally back and place the other one above where the other chest is. Once again, it should power everything all of the way both directions. And with that, we're set up to test run this thing. And then I'll show you how I make it pretty, or how I like to make it look. You can decorate yours however you choose. But let's go ahead and put this minecart on here. And then I like to start with this minecart also being off because I like it to fill the first couple of times. So we're gonna flip back to creative mode for ease of filling because I cannot do this in survival mode. We're just going to fill this up for the test run. Now, if you're doing this in survival mode, which you probably are when you're doing this, I would really, really recommend that you have either a bamboo farm or I use the coal for my wither skeleton farm. There's any number of ways that you can fuel this, but you're going to want a nice fuel source for this. And if you're not planning on running large quantities through all of the time, I highly recommend that you break down these blocks of coal so you don't waste them. I'm just going to use another gold ore as our example block in here to fill this. And we're not going to do the whole thing just because. And then what happens is this hopper, this minecart with a hopper fills with gold or whatever you're smelting down. It fills up with whatever's going in there. And once that one's, I'm gonna let this side run here first. I always like to get it full the first time before I start it because you're filling up all of the hoppers on the back as well as all of the furnaces, and I want to make sure you want it full to make sure that every furnace gets coal for this beginning or whatever fuel you're using. I've used lava buckets in mine, I've used coal in mine, whatever works. Bamboo blocks work great, bamboo planks work better. And then I see every furnace on this side has fired up. Let's see. And then we just make sure that every single furnace is running. That's a pretty good sign that nothing is plugged. And then let's go ahead and decorate it. Okay, so my favorite way to do this is I like to take deep slate or red nether brick or a combination and put it in the front. You can do stairs over these chests. You can't do full blocks, so whatever works best for you for that, go right ahead. Just keep in mind, if you put full blocks there, you won't be able to get into the chests. There we go. And then did I grab full red nether brick? I'm gonna put a red face on this one. I really like to put iron over the furnaces. I think it looks cool. I've tried other things. Trapdoors can be fun too, but iron is my favorite. There's lots of trapdoor options. Okay. Something I've discovered recently that I really liked when I did the other one is that, where is it? But I'm not sure the colors will do well. We'll see what we can figure out. The copper grates, are these waxed? Yeah. Although I'm not sure I like this color. I wish we had iron grates because that would be fun. The copper grates add a lot of movement, like over the top of this. But I don't think we can do that. I don't think we're going to get away with the copper with the red nether brick. So let's try something else. Now, because I'm breaking these in creative mode, things are not dropping into my hoppers. And we can double check that if we need. But if I were to do that in survival, it would definitely plug the hoppers. See. We could try iron bars. We also could try a different, I wonder if the exposed color would go better. No, I don't think it does. Alright, well that's a bust on this one. But I really do like, we can go back over and look at this one. I did the copper grates up here and I really like the movement that it gives when it's running. Yeah, I just don't think we're going to get away with the teal. But we're going to do something else fancy. And I'm going to use gilded blackstone. Because this is quite literally my favorite block in the game. So we're going to do some gilded blackstone on top. And then I'm going to use some, let's see, do we have some chiseled blackstone on the ends? Now if you want to enclose this fully, you are going to have to go up fairly high. Because it takes, I think you have to be, is it like 6 blocks high? to fully enclose the mine carts. Not very, I don't really love, let's see here. What do we got? Get rid of those. Let's go ahead and grab some blackstone bricks. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and make sure we place, anytime we're placing a block over a chest, it needs to be an upside down backward stair so that the chest can still open. And then there we go. And then we can put some cool little sconces on here, I suppose. Do you regular lanterns? I think we're gonna grab some regular lanterns for that. And then we can grab fences. I like the blackstone fences actually. Let's do the polished ones. Add some iron chains to the mix. You could also do like iron trapdoors. Like I said, there's endless opportunities. You could put stairs on the top for like a top border if it's like up against a ceiling. There's so many ways to do this. I'm just doing my favorite right now. And actually, I think we're gonna go like this for the lights on the edges. I did that one block off, right? There we go. We got our lighting in there. And we can actually hang one. Okay. Run into this dilemma all of the time. Put one here. And we'll put one here. Is that the same spot? No, I think this one needs to go out one more. 3, 1, 2. Got some drippy lanterns. I actually don't like the chains on the center ones. So we'll put them up because we can do that. There we go. And then we've got a cool, very dark vibes furnace build. And it's smelted an awful lot of gold in the meantime. One of these nether gold ore blocks makes a gold ingot. So that's a lot of gold smelted. And the purpose of this, turning this one on, is that you want it. Ooh, I don't know what hold on. That's in the wrong place. That goes. It goes right here, actually. Goes right there. And then you put a repeater into this block. An additional repeater. Now this is a bypass. This will turn the machine on pretty much 24/7. And you want to do this if you know that you just have like what's left in the minecart and you want it out. That would be the only time that'd be necessary. So there'd be like 5 stacks, I think it holds, of items held up in your minecart if you don't have the lever on there. So that's an additional repeater for the bypass lever. But you can just leave that up most of the time. And if you say have like 10 things you're smelting or some small number, this is actually designed for large quantities of items. So I don't anticipate that being a problem. So there you have it. That is the 32 item, large scale, fully automated super smelter. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I will be seeing you in more tutorials in the future. Thanks. Bye.